Hi, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. You know, I love spare ribs and ham and pork chops and bacon and sausage. I also like shrimp and crab and lobster. And I'm able to enjoy these foods because as a Christian, all foods are available to me for eating and nourishment. Under the new covenant God has made with those who believe in Jesus, he not only opens salvation to all who believe, but he also relaxes the dietary laws that he had given to the Israelites. The dietary laws were part of what it meant to be an Israelite. Not quite as important as circumcision, but close. However, Peter has a vision that changes dietary restrictions and does more for all Christians, and especially Jewish Christians. Our devotion for today, June 15th, 2020, is from the book of Acts, chapter 10, verses 9 through 23. Starting with verse 9, the next day, as they were on their journey and approached the city, Peter went up on the housetop about the 6th hour to pray. And he became hungry and wanted something to eat, but while they were preparing it, he fell asleep into a trance, and he saw the heavens opened and something like a great sheet descending, being let down by its four corners upon the earth. Well, Peter goes up on a rooftop where he's staying at about 12 noon and the 6th hour, and he spends some time in prayer. And in his prayer time, he has a vision of the heavens opening, and this great tablecloth, if you will, comes down to cover the four corners of the earth. Verses 12 and following. In it were all kinds of animals and reptiles and birds of the air, and there came a voice to him, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." But Peter said, "By no means, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean." And the voice came to him again a second time, "What God has made clean, do not call clean." This happened 3 times, and the thing was taken up at once into heaven. Moses brought the dietary laws down from Mount Sinai and gave them to the Hebrew people. These have guided the Hebrew people in what they could eat since that day. They couldn't eat any animal considered unclean according to dietary law, such as camels and hares and pigs and marine life that doesn't have any fins and tails and so forth. In Peter's vision, several unclean animals were presented to Peter. And when the vision invited Peter to kill and eat, Peter refused because that would be against the dietary laws. 3 times Peter was invited to eat these unclean animals, and 3 times he refuses. And Peter's got to begin to see a pattern about, 3 times being told something, right? He refuses, thinking it's the right thing to do. It appears, though, that God is relaxing or even getting rid of the Jewish dietary restrictions, and Peter's trying to come to terms with that as he assesses what this vision was all about. But what Peter doesn't understand is that God is speaking to him about more than just the dietary laws. What God has made clean, do not call common. Could this apply to more than just food? What do you think God is saying to Peter in this vision, in addition to relaxing the dietary laws? Verse 17. Now, while Peter was inwardly perplexed as to what the vision that he had seen might mean, behold, the men who were sent by Cornelius, having made inquiry for Simon's house, stood at the gate and called out to ask whether Simon, who was called Peter, was lodging there. And while Peter was pondering the vision, the Spirit said to him, "Behold, 3 men are looking for you. Rise and go down and accompany them without hesitation, for I have sent them." And Peter went down to the men and said, I am the one you are looking for. What is the reason for your coming? And they said, Cornelius, a centurion, an upright and God-fearing man, who is well spoken of by the whole Jewish nation, was directed by a holy angel to send for you and to come to his house and to hear what you have to say. So he invited them in to be his guests, and the next day he rose and he went away with them, and some of the brothers from Joppa accompanied him. Well, I believe that we're going to soon learn what God is truly saying to Peter when he says, what God has made clean, don't call common. You've been thinking about this, haven't you? What it means? Trust me, it's a good word for both you and me. Our faith in Jesus no longer makes us common, no longer makes us unclean, but instead makes us clean based on God's promise and grace found in Jesus Christ. Hold on to this truth and have a great day. Go in peace, serve the Lord.